Hey, everyone, Andy Hall, the Disappointed Cat Morning Show. Sure, the thumbnail is of an irritated cat. Thought I'd mix it up a bit, right? What are we covering today? I'm glad you asked. Twitter has a new feature that may make the platform less dickish. Rancid meat. Why are people eating intentionally rancid meat? Nana gossip and getting a rioter from January 6th busted in Florida. What the hell is going on with Florida? And we got some other stuff. There'll be mystery stories. Mystery stories. It's Friday. Let's do something funny.
Hello there.
General Kenobi! May the Force be with you! Always!
Hello there.
General Kenobi! May the Force be with you! Always!
So there you go. I thought that was pretty funny. Jack Black there doing a classic scene, a rendition of one of the classic Star Wars movies. So yeah, that probably demonetized my video there for a copyright restriction. So hey, if you want to contribute to the cause, feel free to become a patron or a member of the YouTube channel here. Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Let's see who's in the cats are cranky right about that. Atheist prime time, right? Glad you're here. Simply Secular Dave from the West Coast. What's up, Tobin? Glad to see that you're here. Phil Lister. You know, I think Phil is just trying to teach us all geography, cartography, maybe. Geography, we'll go with geography of the Baltic area, of the Baltic Sea. Maybe the North Sea, too. I'm not sure. John Hudson, glad to see that you're here. Let's see, anyone else there? Dr. Mordecai, don't tell dog jokes, whatever I do. Hey, Scott Duke. It's a good morning so far, I have to tell you. So far, so good. It's a beautiful day here in the Boston area. All right, I think I got everyone. So my girlfriend's has been a little bit under a day here in the apartment. Things have reverted back to a primordial time. It's basically a Lord of the Flies situation here. It's amazing how without my kids around or my girlfriend around or any moderating influence, I just regress back to being really irresponsible about dishes, leaving my dishes out, doing all kinds of things. My kid's coming over this weekend, so I will be cleaning up because I do want to be at least a positive role model in some ways for my children. Hey, girlfriend from Texas. How are you doing? You can just strike all that I said. The house is immaculate. We have it's clean. I've been doing like cleaning nonstop since you left. What's up, Fi? Just the local train this morning, huh? Phil Lister. So the stories, right? You want to do some memes? Let's do some memes. Where are the memes? Here we go. Bring in the memes. Hilarious. When I think I'm making a cool new friend, and then they mention church. Womp womp. There's Ben Affleck gazing into the abyss. Matthew Perry. I was just looking at this story about Matthew Perry. He was 51 years old. He's a year younger than I am. And he's hitting this 19-year-old up on some dating app. And I guess Ben Affleck was also hitting up some 19-year-old on a dating app in the last couple of months. And it's like, wow. They showed a video of the 19-year-old model TikTok star talking with Matthew Perry. And it's like, doesn't look good for you, Matthew Perry. I know you have a lot of issues. But this does not look good for you. All right, what's the next meme? Oh, see, now this is a science joke, right? I remember having Redshift explained to me by Carl Sagan back in 1983, maybe, when I was watching when I was watching Cosmos, of course, which I still have the book here too. I still I still have Cosmos right here. It is near and dear to me. Yeah. That was the first time I learned about Redshift, and it was explained to me wonderfully by by Dr. Sagan right here. Blue shift, red shift. And then the last joke. Roses are red, tacos are enjoyable. Don't blame a Mexican just because you're unemployable. It hurts because it's true. It hurts because it's true. All right. Check out the chat before we start talking about this Twitter feature that may make the platform less toxic. Yes, my girlfriend. Oh yes. Well, Sean, I have weird biology. There are some good parts about this, and there are some really not so good parts about this. So, but I still have my hair. Yeah, 52. I attribute it to my low testosterone myself. All right. So Twitter profile. So what's Twitter doing? As many of you may not have known this about Twitter. But at times, Twitter is full of raging dumpster fires. What's up, Jess M? And now there's an attempt by the company to make it less dumpster fiery. Let's share links in the description. I think I put the links in the description today. I'm pretty sure I did. Want to send a mean tweet? Twitter's new feature wants you to think again. It's common knowledge that if you can't see the person that you're communicating with, then there's a far greater chance of you being a dick, right? Maybe not you, but the general person, right? Because everyone here on the show, we're relatively well-behaved people most of the time, right? But this new feature from Twitter is going to act as a reminder that, hey, maybe you don't want to send that dick tweet, that dickish tweet. The tech company on Wednesday announced it has released a feature that detects mean replies on its service before a user presses send. When a not very nice tweet is detected, an automatic prompt reads, "Want to review this before tweeting?" The user is presented with three choices: tweet, edit, or delete. This feature, which launched Wednesday, will initially be enabled on accounts with English language settings. It's unclear when other languages will be added. Twitter says after a year of tests with the add-on, users were sending fewer offensive replies across the surface. It's easy to be mean. Sometimes it's hysterical too. Sometimes it's funny to be mean. But upon reflection, maybe you just need a split second. Maybe you need 2 seconds to reflect on that tweet. Like I said, the general person, not anyone here in the chat or who's watching right now. But perhaps it's like a brake. You're like pumping the brakes a little bit. You're not stopping altogether. It's just a nice reminder. It's like, hey, Twitter's just letting you know, maybe you're being a jerk right now, and maybe you should think about this before hitting send. According to Twitter, when prompted, 34% of people revised their initial reply or decided not to send it at all. After they were first prompted, users composed about 11% fewer offensive replies in the future. They were also less likely to receive offensive replies in return. Now, before we get any further, you might be also surprised that women on Twitter, they get a lot of offensive tweets. I know, that's surprising. Users, especially women, receive a high level of harassment and abuse on the service. Research shows that's because there's probably a lot of middle school incels out there, or just incels in general, who have nothing else to do than to be on Twitter. In 2018, Amnesty International analyzed 228,000 tweets sent to 778 women politicians and journalists in the UK and in the US. In 2017, the subsequent report revealed 1.1 million abusive or problematic tweets which were sent to women throughout the year, an average of nearly 1 per 30 seconds. Not surprising, because when you don't have a valid argument, it's easy just to throw an insult to someone. Twitter said its new feature takes into account the context of conversations, making exceptions making exceptions for offensive language used sarcastically or as part of friendly banter. It also weighs the nature of a relationship between the message's author and the person replying, including how often the two interact. So we all know it's difficult to communicate humor appropriately on Twitter or on social media in general. But this is interesting, is that supposedly the service is going to be able to consider how many times you've interacted with the other person. So when I tell West Coast Succulent Dave there to go F himself maybe, which I wouldn't do. I like Dave. Dave and I communicate all the time on Twitter. But if I did in jest, then Twitter would know, this feature would know that Dave and I communicate quite a bit, and they may not give me the prompt to say, hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. All right, let's check out. Hey, Sammy Jenkins, how are you doing? All right. Phil Lister says he has ears, but it grows out of his. He has hair, but it grows out of his ears. Very nice, very nice. All right, Len Chesterton, glad that you're here. Well, that's right. The first time you've lost an argument or debate is to insult someone personally. Exactly. So maybe, I feel like I should start throwing some mean replies. Like to at least start typing and see if the Twitter program actually works. Maybe I'll do an experiment over the weekend and I'll report back to you all on Monday. Yes. What am I doing over the weekend? I'm glad that you asked. I'm doing Atheist Drinking Out Loud with Seamus from Free Thought Prophet and Neil, the 604 Atheist. That's 5 p.m. on Saturday. We have a mystery guest. I forget who it is. It's one of Neil's guys, Neil's people. And so it's from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern. We have a lot of fun. Sometimes I brown out. Sometimes I black out. But I still speak more coherently than Joe Rogan. That should be just the tagline of the show. Still makes more sense than Joe Rogan's podcast. Oh, on Sunday, I'm also doing the late night show at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. And I'm hanging over at the Free Thought Prophet podcast. We're talking about, of course, Atheist Alliance International, AAI, and the fiasco going on over there. All right. Next story. Oh, maybe we should do a video. Let's do a video. Oh, slavery. Another reason why this channel gets demonetized, or why this video will get demonetized. We covered the other day about how I believe it was a Louisiana lawmaker, state lawmaker, wants the good, the bad, and the ugly about slavery being taught in schools. Now, there's a lot of bad. It's all bad, and it's all ugly. There's no good parts about slavery. And people and this is an observation, tell me if I'm wrong, everyone, people who argue that biblical slavery wasn't that bad could never imagine themselves being a biblical slave. Not in any real way. That's a tangent. But there's more slavery misinformation being pumped out by who? By which party? The Republicans, of course. I'm going to share with you this video. We'll take a look at it. It's a short video about the 3/5 compromise. All right. So I know we have a lot of people, international viewers here. The 3/5 compromise occurred in the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution. Slave states knew that there weren't a lot of voters down in the slave states, in the southern states, in comparison to the northern states. And that means that they would just be rolled over politically in the House of Representatives, because the House of Representatives are, of course, seats are given towards population. So what the 3/5 compromise did was that it made each slave a 3/5 of a person in terms of tallying how many seats you're going to get in the House of Representatives. I hope I explained that well. There are some Republican lawmakers who are heralding the 3/5 compromise as a stepping stone of eliminating slavery. It wasn't at all. But let's see what these fools are saying.
So we've seen it twice in recent weeks. Republican lawmakers defending the infamous 3/5 compromise, which declared that slaves be counted as 3/5 of a person. The latest instance just yesterday on the floor of the Tennessee State House, where a Republican representative claimed the deal was about ending slavery. Ms. Laura Jarrett, co-anchor of Early Start, joins us now with more. I can't believe this.
Yes, you can. And here's why. All these conversations are coming up right now as Republican lawmakers across the country are pushing new bills to limit what schools can teach students about racism in this country. But some now find themselves in need of a history lesson. Tennessee State Representative Justin Lafferty took to the House floor Tuesday, delivering an impassioned speech during a debate over legislation aimed at limiting funding to public and charter schools if they teach critical race theory, a practice that sees racism entrenched in laws and institutions, and one that has become a prime target for some conservatives lately.
I've heard referenced in here, as you all have, the 3/5 compromise. I challenge everybody that can hear my voice. Pull out a piece of paper, write down why that compromise was reached.
Admittedly speaking off the cuff, Lafferty went on, defending what he called a bitter but necessary compromise, erroneously claiming it was a way to end slavery.
The 3/5 compromise was a direct effort to ensure that Southern states never got the population necessary to continue the practice of slavery everywhere else in the country. By limiting the number of population in the count, they specifically limited the number of representatives that would be available in the slaveholding states, and they did it for the purpose of ending slavery.
Yet the 3/5 compromise wasn't about ending slavery at all. It was one of a number of pro-slavery compromises baked into the Constitution during negotiations in 1787 about congressional apportionment and taxation. What Representative Lafferty failed to mention is that the compromise meant that a state could count 3/5 of its enslaved population toward its total population, even though enslaved people had no rights and certainly couldn't vote. That gave Southern states more representation and effectively more political power. Lafferty's speech received a round of applause from some of his colleagues, something that Democratic State Representative Antonio Parkinson tells the New York Times was, quote, especially stinging. Parkinson went on to tell the Times, quote, I thought it was horrible. I don't care if it's policy or how you're counting heads. There's nothing good about slavery. But Lafferty isn't the only one offering this ahistorical claim about the 3/5 compromise. Last month in Colorado, during a debate on civics education in schools, State Representative Ron Hanks said this.
The 3/5 compromise, of course, was an effort by non-slave states to try to reduce the amount of representation that the slave states had. It was not impugning anybody's humanity.
All right. I've had enough. We don't have to see the entire 7-minute clip there. You get the picture. So whenever the Republicans tell you that they're the party of Lincoln, just remember this little bit right there. Slavery, it wasn't that bad. The 3/5 compromise, it was a way of incredible. Yes, 3/5 of human for representation, but slaves were always considered to be property. As Sean goes, so do these GOP lawmakers have 3/5 of a brain, and how do they determine which days who gets to use it? That's right. They have one 3/5 of a brain, and it gets traded around by Republican lawmakers. I like that metaphor. I like that analogy, Sean. Oh man. Glenn Chesterton goes, my brain gets hurt by trying to digest that bullshit. You know what's really important is that we as people on the left understand who these people are, these Republicans, these white supremacists and fascists, because a lot of our very nice and pleasant and very comfortable liberals, our brothers and sisters who are liberals, they do not want to understand who these people are. They just want to forget. They don't want to believe that people can be as bad as these GOP lawmakers. Oh, blatant lies, brain bug. Blatant lies. Completely blatant lies. That's what it is. And hey, B, I'm going to be, if you're doing a stream tonight, I'll be on your stream tonight. Maybe more than an hour because my girlfriend's not around. And so, hey, I might be on from 8 till whatever time, done that. I don't know. So that was our, what time is it? 20. All right, let's do the next story. Rancid meat. You think that we're gonna pivot from political stupidity and evil. Mike Myers there, right? Dr. Evil. Now we're gonna just switch to good old-fashioned stupidity because people are eating rancid meat. Oh, my fictitious God! This is a real story. Got it from Newsweek. Links in the description below. And supposedly, people eating rancid meat to get high has been a thing for quite a while. I don't know about the strange things that you all did trying to get high when you were younger. I tried smoking banana peels, drying them out, smoking them. It didn't get me high. But still better than eating rancid meat. People are eating rotten raw meat to get high in dangerous online trend. Let me just read it one more time. People are eating rotten raw meat to get high in dangerous online trend. Don't you know that you can just get high? You can just go down to the dispensary in many states and just get high. You can talk to your cousin who grows that stuff in his backyard or in his closet and get high. You don't have to eat rancid meat. Of all the bizarre and dangerous trends to gain traction on social media, a practice known as eating high meat may be the all-time grossest and most nauseating, including to IFL science, that's I fucking love science to you and me. The appalling diet trend encourages people to let raw meat rot for several months or even a year before eating it. Once adequately rancid, I don't know what the meter is for what is radically rancid, everyone. The decomposed raw meat, aka high meat, is consumed, and supposedly euphoric high feeling soon overtakes the person eating. While some reportedly eat high meat for its alleged mind-altering effects, others actually say they prefer the taste of rotten flesh, which IFL science says. Yeah, I'm just going to say I fucking love science. That's all I'm going to say. Once again, already demonetized this video, so I'm just going to double down. Dig the pit deeper. Says is often described as cheesy and more acidic than your average steak. There's a lot of jokes I'm not going to tell you because they're gross jokes, and it's not appropriate for this format. Despite the anecdotal claims of high meat advocates, experts are resounding in their opposition to the trend, noting that eating rancid raw meat can cause severe illness. As Naris Lapsus, a Singapore-based consultant dietitian, told Vice, it's possible that a whole range of bacteria present in rotten meat could be behind the reported high or hallucination or feeling of euphoria, or it could just be the placebo effect. Maybe you're not getting high, maybe you're just stupid. However, it's simply a matter of luck as to whether or not the high meat will make the person eating it violently ill. There's all... All right, before I go on with the story, on the Venn diagram, people who don't wear masks and people who eat high meat, what's the overlap on that? Because if you don't understand the germ theory of disease, right, that these small microscopic organisms that cause disease, and you don't understand that you should be wearing a mask during, the COVID crisis, during the COVID pandemic, what's the chances that you're also eating high meat? But I digress. Let's just continue with the story. Oh, my God. However, it's simply a matter of luck as to whether or not the high meat will make the person eating it violently ill. There's all sorts of bacteria, Salmonella, Shigella, E. coli, all of these things that our body might really struggle to breaking down, Lapsy said. In addition to food poisoning, Vice notes that the consumption of high meat has the potential to cause uncontrollable bowel movements, large intestinal damage, vomiting, dehydration, and even botulism. And botulism, from what I understand, can kill you. Wow. So what did we go from? We went from Twitter. We went into the maelstrom. We started off with kind of a good story about Twitter saying, doing this service about, hey, maybe you shouldn't be sending that mean tweet to the GOP, basically rewriting history as they want to do about the 3/5 compromise, and now rancid meat. Checking out the chat. Rage. This is why the human race is doomed. Eating rant, indeed. I will not forget your stream, B, definitely. I drank Boone, Strawberry Hill, and peach schnapps. I don't think I've ever had peach schnapps. Right, Mighty Mouse? Rancid meat high. Thank you, Rage, right? He smoked banana peels too. Did not get him high. Let's see. That sounds like a pica thing, eating rancid meat. People who have, is it pica? I think it's pica. It's eating weird things that are not food and not good for you. Let's see. Oh, Kevin Cass did. I did normal shit like huffing paint and glue. I think you ate a rotten orange peel once. Interesting. I'm just wondering when Joe Rogan, I guess this is me just riffing on Joe Rogan today. I wonder when Joe Rogan's going to do, because he did the all meat diet just like Jordan Peterson did. And I think Rogan did it for a month. And I'm just waiting for the day when he's hanging out with Elon Musk and getting high and talking about eating rancid meat to get high. Well, Lee Spanner, I have to tell you, as a vegetarian, I have to tell you, yeah. Oh, now this is interesting. I drank Mad Dog 2020. That Bones found. Oh man, it's funny. We start talking about eating rancid meat and getting high. The chat blows up. This is great. Seriously, what's wrong with weed and whippets? The ultimate high, puking your guts out and maybe even dying. Woohoo! These are probably the same dumbasses that eat the pots. Oh yeah. Well, there's no doubt that TikTok, YouTube, social media in general incentivizes really stupid behavior because people want to see you doing something stupid. Here it is. I think people who mean tweet believe the 3/5 compromise was punishment for southern states and eat rancid meat are all the same people. Good point, girlfriend. They're all in one category. All in one category. Oh, this is interesting. The only way to consume the Greenland shark is to let it putrefy in the Arctic air. That's a really slick cut of meat, though. From what I understand, the smoking process, right? I mean, if you dehydrate the meat, then that means bacteria can't grow in the meat. So I could see why it would, if you're smoking or dehydrating the meat, letting it age, then that prohibits bacteria. But Brainbug knows about this much more than I do. All right. I think we, and I'm going to read the girlfriend's quote again. I think the people who mean tweet believe the 3/5 compromise was punishment for southern states and eat rancid meat are all the same people. I would have to agree. Yeah. Oh, I had the worst food poisoning when I was in New York City. I ate some bad bacon. Completely wiped me out for days. Completely wiped me out. And Glenn, you're right. Natural selection at its finest. All right, halftime show. Because there's like real stories. There's other stories we have to talk about. I think we're going to jump right into Florida after this because it seems that rancid meat and Florida would just naturally flow together, everyone. But let's do halftime show.
In Tsukishima, Japan, there's a man named Mr. Mitani who likes to take his giant African tortoise out for walks. His name is Bonchan, and he's 25 years old. Mr. Mitani's wife bought him when he was smaller than the size of the palm of his hand. They expected him to get big, but not this big. And he started to grow rapidly as soon as he hit 10 years old. Now he weighs 70 kilograms, which is about 155 pounds. Mr. Mitani takes him on long walks down Monjadori, which is a famous shopping street from Monjayaki. And when I say long walks, I mean like these 5-minute walks that usually take about an hour because of his slow pace and because of all the people that want to take pictures with him. Mr. Mitani takes him out on these walks so that way he doesn't feel stressed out being cooped up at home. If you're ever in Tsukishima from 3 to 5 p.m. on a very nice day, you'll definitely see Bonchan taking a walk. Maybe even longer because he might refuse to go home.
Did you see the turtle's hat? I think that was the best part of the whole thing. Excuse me as I cough in your ears. Excuse me. The hat on this tortoise. Hilarious. Oh, well, you're right, Glenn. The most rancid meat in Florida are DeSantis and Gates. Well, yeah, we're going to be talking about DeSantis. The next story is going to be heavy on DeSantis. All right, so let's do the samurai helmet is fantastic on that tortoise, right? That is great. All right, so Florida. What the hell's going on with Florida this time? Well, Florida is shooting itself in the dick again, unsurprisingly, and it has to do with cruise lines. Cruise lines reopening, and cruise lines, you might find this surprising. Cruise lines don't want customers to get sick. Cruise lines don't want their staff to get sick because it's bad for profit. But Florida, Governor DeSantis, not helping. Major cruise ship company may avoid Florida if state doesn't permit COVID-19 vaccination checks, CEO says. Florida's new law prohibiting businesses from asking whether employees or customers have been vaccinated against COVID-19 may take a toll on its cruise business. The CEO of Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings Limited said Thursday it could cause the company to suspend Florida departures now and move its ships elsewhere. I'm sorry, everyone. This has just been a show of stupid so far. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed an executive order last month banning the use of COVID-19 passports in the state. The order prohibited any government entity from issuing vaccine passports and blocks businesses from requiring any such documentation. Senate Bill 2006 was signed into law Monday, making the executive order official. So once again, we've seen this many times, is that Republican tribalism, they say that they're for the free market, but they're not. What they are is for this idiotic tribalism to get them votes and to keep their base energized. In Florida, your personal choice regarding vaccinations will be protected, and no business or government entity will be able to deny you services based on your decision, DeSantis said. But the CDC says it will not allow cruise lines to resume normal operations unless at least 98% of crew members and 95% of passengers have been vaccinated. Del Rio says he hopes the CDC mandate will override the governor's action when it comes to the cruise industry. Well, you know, if it goes up to the Supreme Court, what's going to happen with a heavily conservative court? Nothing good. DeSantis had earlier cited freedom and privacy concerns as the primary basis for his executive order, arguing that the implementation and enforcement of vaccine passports would create two classes of citizens based on vaccinations. Not really. Not if everyone gets vaccinated. Not if people get vaccinated. It will not create two-class system. And it's hilarious that Republicans would be talking about dividing people amongst class lines. His order had noted that many Floridians had not yet had the opportunity to obtain a vaccine, which some may have infection-acquired immunity. Well, there would be an exception for that, you dumbass DeSantis. Dumbass DeSantis, I might just keep that. And other people may be unable to get COVID-19 vaccines because of health, religious. No, you see, there is one thing of that if you can't get the vaccine for a health reason. That's what we call a legitimate reason. That's a scientific reason. If your magic sky daddy, sky fairy tells you that the voices in your head tells you that you shouldn't be getting the vaccine because of religious reasons, that's not a real reason. That is like Dr. Doom from Marvel Comics, which I know, I'm sorry, Dr. Doom. I know you're far better and you're a man of science as well as mysticism. But it's like Dr. Doom, just for the sake of argument, tells you shouldn't be getting the vaccine. That would not be a real reason. That's not a legitimate reason. Individual COVID-19 vaccination records are private health information that should not be shared by the mandate. Dumbass DeSantis's executive order had read. Republicans, they're talking about privacy, but they still want to tell you what to do with your genitals. Hypocrisy. Republican hypocrisy knows no ends. All right, let me see if I can catch up with the chat here. Death cult. There you go. Yeah, I'm not in favor of the all caps typically, but in this case, I am Mighty Mouse Republicans. And they're not trying to make money either. They are actually hampering businesses in Florida, and they're going to be losing revenue. They're just going to be losing revenue. Simply Secular Dave says, as a response to COVID-19, the government of Canada has deferred the arrival of cruise ships to February. Canada. There's issues up there with getting COVID under control. Definitely, that's a wise move. We should get a tortoise instead of the cat, but we give it a little hat. That's what. DeSantis. What an idiot. And he got the Florida legislature to agree with him too. Can't we? Jesse Bear, good to see that you're here. Jesse Bear, yes, it would be nice just to kick Florida out. But once again, that means we'd have a crazy country to right on our border. And they would want nukes. The Floridians would want to get Chernobyl-style nuclear reactors, and then they would try to get nuclear bombs, and they wouldn't be doing it right, and they'd blow themselves up, and then all the fallout would be drifting all over blue states. It is the nation's penis. You're right, John Hudson. Let's see. Oh, great. Good point, Brainbug. A tortoise is a long-term investment. I think if we get a tortoise now, it would outlive me at least, more than likely. Ox, what's up, Ox? Glad to see you're here. No religious text says anything about vaccines, so they can shut the fuck up. Yeah. You can always tell when by this time of the show, I've already accepted that it's going to be demonetized, so you could contribute with a super chat if you really wanted to. But yeah, there's no ad revenue. Dr. Doom is like if Stark and Strange were the same guy. Oh, totally on point, Brainbug. I am excited about the next cycle of the MCU universe. I'm hoping that they do Dr. Doom right because no one's done Dr. Doom right so far. All right. This is interesting. Back in the early 80s, there was a group trying to make Florida a prison. Fence it off. Florida is a useless state anyway. Yep. But we can put a fez on the tortoise. No cat will allow that. That's right. I think cats would not allow a fez on their head. All right, so what time is it? 30 minutes in. What have we covered so far? Twitter being less dickish with a new feature, making you think before you tweet, before you mean tweet. People eating rancid meat once again. Hey, Jesse Bear, thank you very much for being a new member. Andy, stop reading from your set list and thank Jesse Bear and show a tweet. Thanks for being part of, supporting whatever I do here. I do a variety of things on this channel. Yeah, sometimes I get drunk and I talk smack. Sometimes there's some great guests that come through here and we talk about their books or their work that they've done. And of course, I do the morning show Monday through Friday. But thanks for being a contributor, Jesse Bear. Rancid meat, Republicans putting a shine on slavery when it was just all bad. And of course, what the hell is going on with Florida? All right, so what's the next story we're doing? Grandma gossip. We've seen many ways how rioters from January 6th, insurgents, we'll call them insurgents, dick bags maybe bags of dicks, I don't know, maybe bags of flaccid Florida dicks. All right, this metaphor has gone way too long. we've seen many ways how the feds have been able to get to riders. A story that we did last week, I think it was last week, about how they used facial recognition technology to nab someone from their girlfriend's Instagram account. Well, here's another way how they were able to arrest someone. Grandma gossip helped lead FBI to Capitol riot suspect, officials say. So here's the thing, right? If you're going to commit a crime, don't take a picture of yourself while committing the crime. Don't post it on social media. And don't tell your nan. Don't tell your nan you're going to go commit a crime, because your nan's going to talk. And when your nan talks to someone else, that person's going to talk. And eventually that could get to the FBI. That's the moral of this story. All right, this guy too. Oh, look at this guy. Now I'm sure that you're all surprised at this, that this guy here circled would be the guy that gets nabbed by the FBI for telling his nan he's committing a crime. I think the real story here is the dude to his left, our right, the man in the Minuteman costume, who's obviously cosplaying with his sunglasses on. At least he's trying to be incognito. And this guy on the left, he's like taking a selfie. He's living his best life. Oh my God. More than a week after the siege, led by supporters of former President Donald Trump, the mother of Robert Lee Petrosh told a friend that her son had participated in the mob that stormed into the Capitol, authorities said. That friend then told her grandson, who informed the FBI about his alleged role, according to the document. Federal authorities first learned Petrosh when an anonymous online tipster told the FBI that he was, quote, on the steps, unquote, of the Capitol on January 6th, according to the complaint. Petrosh's mother's friend's grandson. This is like a Judge Judy or Jerry Springer episode. Petrosh's mother's friend's grandson and the FBI officer who knew Petrosh for about 15 years identified him in photos later that month, the document said. So it was his mother friend's grandson that actually called the feds. The photos were taken from inside the federal building, authorities said. In one of them, Petrosh appears to be holding a cell phone in one hand while wearing a black long-sleeved t-shirt, blue jeans, and a green cross body bag. The photo showed him sitting in the bench inside the Capitol. That was the picture we just saw. In the second photo, he appears to be wearing the same outfit, standing near the House wing door at 3:20 p.m. The FBI officer previously worked with and attended social meetings with Petrosh, authorities said. He also said he occasionally sees Petrosh gardening. You know, this is like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. You know, if you're running your mouth about the illegal shit that you're doing, then it's only a hop, skip, and a jump before someone basically dimes on you. So the moral, and you'd be all surprised that this gentleman here, obviously attending his Mensa meeting in the Capitol building, would have done such a thing. He would have basically publicized to the world, not only talking to his phone, which is locating him. They can tell where you are because of the pings from your phone, but also just shooting his mouth off, telling the world that he was in the Capitol building. All right, let's see what's going on with the chat. Well, Glenn Chesterton, exactly. Don't call 911 to say someone stole your weed, especially if you're in a state where it's illegal. Well, this is a good question, Jesse Beer. I'm not against lying to people in a positive way, right? To get them to get the vaccine. I'd give them a free tattoo, sure. America tattoo, sure. You can get a tattoo saying, I'm an anti-vaxxer. I hate Fauci. And if that's what gets them to get a vaccine, like a one-shot vaccine, of course, like the J&J, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, I'd be totally in favor of that. Or maybe, now Lee Spanner just said this, dumb people, rancid meat good, less in the gene pool. Yes, so perhaps what we do is we offer these anti-vaxxers rancid meat to get high on, as they get as they get a vaccine, as we give them the shot. Just an idea on my part. This is it. My best friend's sister's boyfriend saw Ferris passed out at 31 flavors. You know, you would think someone would have seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off and just realized that as soon as you tell your nan, your grandma, that, or your mother, that you're off storming the castle, right? That she's going to tell her friends, and then eventually the FBI is going to know about it. All right. So we just covered a lot of stories. It's about 45 minutes. I think I'm going to start wrapping up, to tell you the truth. The show went faster than I thought it would. Sometimes that happens, everyone. We are doing the after party after show at 10 o'clock on the same channel. I believe the links are in the description. Let's see. I have a feeling that the rancid meat people are probably the same ones giving themselves a bum sunburn. Yeah, that's probably, there might be a peer-reviewed study at this point about that. I don't know. What's up, Theo? Theoretically, glad to see that you're here today. So yeah, we're actually just closing up shop right now. There's the after party after show, where I'm sure we'll be talking more about rancid meat. We'll probably be talking about conservatives, about Republicans. We'll probably be talking more about atheism, of course, right? We'll be talking about Christian evangelical. Who knows what we're going to be talking about in the after party after show. Links are in the description below. If you want to come and just chat, you'd be on screen with me. You definitely feel free to do that. If you just want to see the show, I believe the link is down there somewhere. Maybe it's not. It will be the next video on this channel, and that's at 10 a.m. Let's do something funny to close things off. Is it something cat related? It might be something cat.
Cooter, what do you want for your birthday coming up? Cooter, I can't just put chicken on your Amazon wish list.
Cooter wants chicken on his wish list. That's reasonable, right? And you could probably put some kind of chicken product on his Amazon's wish list. You just have to be a bit creative about that. That's all. God damn, I got to get my ears checked. Great show today. Well, thank you, Kevin Chaos. I try to spread the chaos. CHAOS. I try to spread the chaos. Good. Glad that you come to the after party, Glenn. Thank you, Simply Secular Day, for throwing that link to the after party there. I'm going to do the thank you video. I have to, well, of course, I'm going to put Jesse Beer as on the next version of this video. But here's for thank you to patrons and members.